Okay, so question 16a was as follows. Find the equation of a straight line which is perpendicular to the line 2y minus x is equal to 3 and passes through the point -4, 1. Okay, so we need to find the equation where we can draw a line which is perpendicular to the line which has an equation which is 2y minus x is equal to 3, and it passes through the point -4, 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get that equation given, then I'm going to use this equation to find the gradient. I'm going to find the gradient of this equation, and thereafter I'm also going to come up with the gradient of the equation we're going to formulate. Okay, so here we are. What I'm going to do is, first I'm going to make x a subject of the formula. So I'm going to write 2y, then which is going to be 2y is equal to 3 minus x. Now here, sorry, I said x to make, I'm going to make y a subject of the formula, not x, y the subject of the formula. So now once I've done this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide every term by 2 so that I just remain with y on that side. So I'm going to divide this side by 2 and this side by 2 and here by 2. Okay, every term in this expression is divided by 2 because I want to remain with y only. So when I do that, I'm going to come up with something which is going to be like this. So I'm going to cancel the 2's, the 2 on top and the denominator where there's 2y. So I'm going to remain with y. Then as you can see, 3 and 2, there's no number. 2 cannot go into 3 without leaving a remainder. So I'm just going to write 3 over 2 and x over 2. Okay, I'm going to write like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now here is I'm going to get the coefficient of x. So I want to come up with the gradient. So the gradient of that equation 2y minus x is equal to 3. So I'm going to get a coefficient of x, which is 1 there. That's why I'm going to put 1. Then I'm going to get that one, that is the gradient. 1 over 2 is the gradient of that equation. Okay, so 1 over 2. So for me to find the gradient of the second equation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the inverse of 1 over 2. Okay, so 1 over 2, the inverse is 2 over 1. So I'm going to write m is equal to, so now this gradient is going to be in a negative form. So I'm going to have -2. Okay, that is gradient number 2, and the other one is gradient number 1. The one I found is gradient number 1. Okay, so this is gradient number 1 is for the first equation in the question, and then gradient number 2 is the gradient for the equation we want to find or want to make. Okay, so the gradient will be -2 over 1. Okay, now when you see a fraction like that where the denominator is bigger than the numerator is bigger than the denominator, you can try to divide. Now as you can see, 1 can go into -2. So 1 into -2 will give us -2. Okay, so -2 is the gradient of the equation we're going to formulate. Okay, for this for the perpendicular line of that equation. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to try to come up with that equation. Then I see what is missing, what I haven't found. So the equation we use to find, the equation we use for a straight line is y is equal to gradient multiplied by the value of x and plus what? C, which is the constant. Okay, so what we can do now, we try to put what is a variable. So as you can see, we just have a -2 gradient. We have a value for a gradient which is -2. So I'm going to write y is equal to -2x. Okay, do we know the value of x, of c, sorry, do we know the value of c? No, we don't know the value of c. So we are yet to find the value of c. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation to find the value of x. The same equation for making the equation for a straight line. Okay, so I'm going to say y. What is y in those points? They have given us 1 point, right, where this equation is passing through. We have got -4 and -1 in the statement, okay, in the question. Let me read through the question, then I show you where I'm getting the variables or the values. Find the equation of a straight line which is perpendicular to the line 2y minus x is equal to 3 and passes through the point -4, 1. So the value of y I'm going to get in those points where we have -4 and 1. So the value of y in those points is 1. Okay, so I'm going to write 1, which is equal to then I'm going to put -2 as the gradient we found. Then the gradient 2. Okay, then we are going to multiply it by x. What is the value of x? In those points given in the question, it's -4. So I'm going to multiply by -4, then plus c. Now remember, we just want to find the value of c so that we can put that value of c in that equation. Okay, so now we can say 1 is equal to -2 multiplied by -4 will give us 8, which will be added to c in order for us to get 1. Okay, then what we're going to do, we're going to put like terms together. So I'm going to write 1, then the 8 will cross the equal sign and come to where 1 is, so it will become a negative. So -8 is equal to c. Okay, so now when we subtract 1 from 8, when we say 1 minus 8, we are going to get, when we subtract 8 from 1, we're going to get -7, which is equal to c. Okay, now we have found the value of c. Now we can go and put the value of c there. Now, in that expression we have, let's go to the expression, the formula, the equation we have written in the middle here in brown. We have found already the value of c, which is -7. Now let's come to the equation on the middle. The equation on the middle is, okay, what we want to come up with? We want to come up with an equation that is perpendicular to the equation which is 2y minus x is equal to 3. Okay, remember these equations are going to produce a straight line. So we have managed to come up with y is equal to -2x. Okay, so -2 is coming from the gradient, the second gradient, and x, that is, it will remain just like that. Now we were finding the value of c, and we have found it's -7. So we're going to write y is equal to -2x plus -7. Remember, we are adding. Now here again we're going to write y is equal to -2x. Now when we multiply the positive by a negative, we're going to get the answer which is a negative. So the answer there was going to be -7. So the equation will be y is equal to -2x minus 7. -2x minus 7. That is the equation for a straight line which is perpendicular to the line which is 2y minus x is equal to 3. So the equation now we have found is this one in the circle, which is y is equal to -2x minus 7. So this was the correct answer. Let's go to the next question. This one is solved. Okay.